Do you know focusing deeply can become so automatic that you literally can't avoid success? I spent years blowing 50K on day trading, I burned through thousands of dollars taking useless courses, and I crashed multiple businesses, all because I was clueless about real focus. But after I ditched these complicated productivity hacks from those gurus and also the apps, effortless 6 to 13 hour days of focus became my normal. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 stupidly simple skills that make focus automatic and make progress almost inevitable. So to start, let me show you the focus skill that is so simple that you can use it lost in the jungle ass naked with nothing but your brain. So imagine you're dumped in the middle of the jungle, a dense jungle, like you have no map, no compass, absolutely nothing. Like you're just here and you know your sausage is swinging into the wind. You have nothing. If you randomly start walking around, what do you think happens? You just walk around in circles, completely lost in the jungle, until you eventually, oh shit, you run into the tiger and he like fucking eats your sausage. But even with zero tools, there's a simple survival trick that also works for your focus. So if you're here again at the starting point, and instead of just walking around randomly, you picked a landmark, you see this like, oh shit, a massive fucking tree in the distance, and you keep that in your sight, and then you walk in a certain directions, walk either straight to the landmark, or just keep checking and then walking in a specific direction. So you know you're always moving in the same direction instead of walking in circles. And then if suddenly now like, oh shit, like you're in the bushes, you can't see the tree anymore, but you can still see the mountain. Now you can change landmarks and still continuously go in the same direction. So this is the most fundamental skill. Without it, you're lost. Placing a landmark. So how do you set your landmark in real life? All you have to do is install this thing right here into your brain. Luckily, this guy right here already had it in his brain. That's why he survived. So let me just zoom out. So the first part of it is just to pick your landmark. So starting from your brain, you have one specific thing that you want to achieve right now. What is that? It's not something that's like super vague, like, oh, I want to make money. It's learn how to make $1 online, something specific like that. Or not like, I want to get fit. It's I want to get a 6-pack in whatever amount of time. Just pick one thing as a landmark, because you can't really have multiple landmarks at once. It doesn't really work, or it doesn't make sense. And then step 2 is to just pick a direction. So sort of pick a target as the first step. The absolute first action towards your landmark. So like just walking towards the tree. It could be super tiny, or ideally it's actually super tiny. Something like research domain names for like 15 minutes if you're going to start like a website or something like that. Or like if you want to try to get fit, just take your running shoes and put it right next to the door. Nothing else. The first step, identify that. Then at step 3, all you have to do is just keep on checking. So you can say like, okay, while you're taking your first step, your second step, is this actually toward the destination? Are you actually making progress? And then if you're not making progress, that's when you go into step 4 and you adjust your landmark. Like you can't quite see it anymore, or you feel like you're going the wrong direction. Then you start again, go into your brain and think about like, okay, what is the one goal that I should generally be going towards right now? And then again, you see like, okay, now I look at the direction, and you go back to this checking. And that's how you always stay on task. Okay, so now you're always moving in a focused direction, but just having a direction doesn't magically clear the path, right? Problems or obstacles will block your way 100% and make you feel stuck, right? So let me show you the 3 simple steps to make progress and find the solution to literally anything always. So I want you to think about building a muscle. So your goal is to make bigger arms, let's just say. And the immediate problem you see is like, oh fuck, your biceps are fucking small. Now, what's the solution? You could obviously just do like bicep curls with a dumbbell, or you can do something like chin-ups on a pull-up bar. Both of them are able to grow your biceps, but which one is better? Neither one is actually better, because it depends entirely on your overall goal. So if you're like a bodybuilder or something and you just want to isolate this muscle and you want to just make it as big as possible, specifically the biceps, then obviously the bicep curls with the dumbbells are better. But if you want to be like more calisthenics and have something more functional and overall body strength, like maybe you want to grow your like fucking lats or some shit as well, then maybe the chin-ups is actually the better choice. So there's almost always more than one way to solve a problem, but picking the right solution depends on understanding your real problem in the context of your main landmark or your ultimate goal. So how do you systematically focus in on your best solution all the time for your specific problem and your specific goal? There's just 3 different steps. And the first step is just to find the problem. So you ask yourself, what is the specific obstacle blocking your way right now? So just like the small biceps, maybe it could be something like, oh, I don't know how to get clients right now. Then in step 2, you define your desired result. So just like the bigger biceps, you could go from I don't know how to make clients to okay, I want to get 3 paying clients this month while setting up a long-term marketing engine for my business. And you know, of course, you want to keep your landmark in mind. Your landmark may be like a certain business or something like that. And then you just go into step 3, which is to just pick the best solution. So just like how you pick between these two, you want to pick between your different options, which could be like cold outreach, content, or ads. You just pick one and act. And in this case, you want like a long-term solution. You want to make content is probably the best, right? But if you just want the 3 clients super bad, like you need money right now, then maybe the cold outreach is better. So with this, you'll always have the right solution for any obstacle that is in the way of your progress. But here's where most people fuck up. You know, you solve a few problems, you feel good for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, but then, oh shit, you know, your motivation starts to die, and then, oh fuck, you're burned out. And then you end up like watching dirty videos for like 5 weeks straight, beating your meat on the daily. So how do you avoid that? Let me show you how to exploit your own perception to actually 10x your progress year over year, guaranteed. So imagine there's 2 different movies. Movie A, where somebody like hypes the shit out of it. Everyone hypes the shit out of it. Your friends say this shit's god tier. The reviews say 10 out of 10. You're ready to go watch it. You're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, this is gonna be the best. My mind's gonna be blown. And then you go watch it, and it's pretty good, but it's actually kind of meh compared to like the insane hype that everybody else was saying. And then there's movie B, which everybody says it's actually kind of fucking dog shit. And then the reviews kind of say it's the worst movie ever, but you want to watch it anyway because it seems like interesting to you. Like, it's not dog shit to you at the surface. And you know what? You watch it and you're like, oh fuck, it's actually pretty fucking good, because your expectations were literally fucking 0. So there's actually a formula for this, all behind the scenes. It's reality divided by the percentage expectation matched to the reality equals your perception. And you know, of course, if your perception's super fucking high, inflated compared to reality, then it's gonna be fucking like shit compared to the hype, right? Or if your expectation is like super well matched to reality, then it's gonna be actually fine. But does this mean you should set small goals so your expectation is really low and then therefore matches reality and your perception is good? No. Don't set small goals. Never set small goals. What you actually need to do is just exploit this formula right here, at least at what you can control, which is your expectation. So there's 2 different steps to do this. First is to daily check off plus visual proof. So you want to break down your solutions into like tiny little problems that you can do every single day. So what are the little tasks, actionable tasks that you can do? You write it down, and then once you complete them, you can check them off. So if you write down the task like this and you scribble it, and then once you finish it, just cross it off. And then once you're finished, you can crumple up this paper and you put it into a bag, what I call the progress bag, all your results in there. And what that does, it's sort of like, you know, you've probably heard of like the 1% improvement per day. That actually equals, for 365 days, about 11x per year. You see the progress physically stack up into the bag. It increases your expectation match, which then lowers the perception compared to reality, and then makes you feel more motivated to make progress. The second thing that you can do is just to shorten the expectation horizon. So by setting like a 90-day milestone, again, you better match reality, your perception, by increasing this number to like more closer to 100% match. And then also regularly achieving this milestone here that you set, whatever it may be, it will regularly enforce the progress in your mind, sort of like lock that in, and then make the 90 days after feel more achievable. So you're able to solve problems, you're building momentum up by exploiting your own expectation, the perception formula. But focus feels a lot easier, way easier, when it's actually paying off in the real world, right? If it's not paying off, you know, you're not making any money, you're not actually making any results, oh fuck, you know, you're gonna have no motivation. So how do you connect your simple focus system to actually generating value and making money in the real world, so you can just keep on doing it? Let me show you exactly how to find your vehicle so you can turn your focus into something you can drive forever. Imagine there was like a 1,000-mile race, like all the way across Texas or some shit. And then once you win the race, you can potentially win $1 million. And then there's some fucking idiot that goes to the starting line. He starts running. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the real winner. It's about the journey, the passion. You know, I like to run. Races should be ran. And he thinks he's like some fucking justice warrior or some shit. He runs maybe 50 miles total, and then he collapses, never finishes, completely fails, like fucking dies on the track, all tired and shit. But then there's another guy, he's like, oh fuck, you know, I gotta get that $1 million. There's no rules that says I can't drive for this race. So he just jumps in his fucking Bugatti and he floors it all the way to the end of the race. He wins the $1 million. And then the runner here is just like licking the dust still. Who's the idiot? Obviously the runner, right? So those like productivity gurus selling you passion over money, they're just selling you the running strategy for this race, basically. What you have to understand is money is basically like your score that confirms your focus is actually creating value, confirms that your focus is actually towards something good. So if you ignore this score, you're likely going to lose focus. So you need a vehicle to actually reach the finish line and keep focused. So how do you find and stick to a money-making vehicle to create forever focus? You just gotta use this framework right here. So think about like, how can your focus create value for other people? It's a super hard ass question to answer, but honestly, the most helpful thing that I thought of for me was just like, list out these 3 things. So everything that you do repeatedly, for example, any habits that you do, like, I don't know, you're like, do you always do cold showers or something like that? Or any problems that you've solved, like for example, if you were fat before and now you got a 6-pack super fast, that's a problem you solved. Or list out every frustration that you constantly work on. You keep like going back to this addiction and you constantly struggle with it. So you have all these different ways to try to mitigate it. Once you have like all those things listed out, you go into the second part of the framework, is to just pick one of those problems that you think you're the strongest in, you can create the most value for other people, and you use this XYZ framework. It is help with X problem to get Y result without unique mechanism. And you want to go this specific, because once you go this specific, it actually sort of like, it explodes your value even more. So for example, it could be like, I help with obese people to get 6-pack in 6 months without cardio, which is probably something you've heard like super common before. But for those like super broad things like that, then you can just stack on more uniqueness. And then once you have this framework, which is generally the best framework you can have, you want to just go into the next step, which is to use the results to sharpen your focus. So if you're in school right now, you probably have tons of free time like I did. I just wasted it on video games, unfortunately. But if you have tons of free time, use that free time to just try to get as much results as possible within this, and only focus on what you decided from the framework. And then if you're working right now, and I started when I was working, so you want to start just building this on the side as much as possible, and you want to save up at least 5 years of money, because I think it takes about like 3 years to actually get something going. So if you have 5 years of money saved, whatever that means for you, probably at least 100K, then you can just go off and try to do it in sort of like the risky way. Or if you want to be a bit safer, just keep working on it on the side until it makes enough money for you to actually live by itself. And then from that, you go into the next step, which is to stick to your vehicle. And the reason why you just stick to it is, think about this. Which restaurant would be better? The one that makes just pure insane rotisserie chicken, the best rotisserie chicken, that's all they do? Or the restaurant that makes like, oh, fucking sushi, dessert, muffins, burgers, steak, tacos, curry? Don't dilute your focus into like 20 different vehicles. Obviously the specialist has more value. So, and you can expand once you're like super expert at it. But for now, pick one, master it, and then once you've mastered it, it's going to pay. And the more it pays, the more focus you're going to be able to pour into it. So now you have a vehicle that connects focus to the real world. You know, you actually generate results and keep doing it. But then the thing is, grinding alone, always just keep on grinding completely alone, like in a fucking dark room or some shit, on this super uncertain thing that you don't even know is going to make you results, and it's complex, it's hard. This is going to breed doubt within your mind. You're going to question yourself, and this is eventually going to kill your focus. So how do you stay focused as fuck, even on really hard shit? You need the simplest thing that you can leverage, which is other people to keep you on your path. So let me show you how to build a tribe that will act as your ultimate focus lever to make progress almost automatic. Imagine Andrew Tate right now. The dude obviously makes millions of dollars. He works insane hours, and I don't know if you've seen videos about him, but he says like, oh, if I go on vacation, I still just like sitting there on my laptop. He was like, oh, why would I go to Bali? Like, I'm just gonna be sitting there on a laptop working anyways. So he has more success than like 99.9% of the population, but he still works hard. But then imagine you have 5 dudes like that, exactly like that, surrounding you every single day. They're working harder than you despite already having what you already want. So are you going to suddenly start slacking off if these 5 people in your environment? You're not, right? You're going to look like an idiot by slacking off, legit, by people that have more than you right now. So proximity to these high achievers is a super focus hack. So the question is, how do you actually get these people? How do you build this tribe of people? There's two different paths, what I call the free way and the pay to win way. So I recommend everybody starts with the free way first, because if you don't do that, you're probably just going to end up wasting your money in some stupid guru shit because you don't actually know what you need. And the first part of the free way is you just haunt online spaces. So you lurk around like, I don't know, fucking Discord or some subreddit, and you try to learn from the tips that they write or the problems that they have. You read them and you see and you try to just like internalize that. And obviously you like just study from people online. Just pick a couple of people of content that you think is really helpful and just keep watching it. That's obviously one of the best things, like a long form content like this. Or obviously you can join like a free community, like for example Hamza has his like Adana school or some shit like that. I think is free. One of them is free at least, and there's people in there that's probably working hard, of course. And once you go through that free part, you go through the shit that is real money, and this stuff that's real money, if you know what you're looking at, will actually help you way more. So one of the options there is to just buy a community access. So if you find a community that's super good, like maybe from somebody that you've been watching for a long time and gives good free value, so they must give better paid value, you can buy one of those and they have the curated connections or the curated access to certain things. Or another thing you can do is relocate. Hamza talks about this a lot. You can relocate to somewhere like a hub city, which is like Dubai or Bali or some shit, and make connections there, because a lot of ambitious people are there. Or you can hire the chicken man. So think about this. Like, if your dream was to own a KFC restaurant or something, if you had like Colonel Sanders himself mentoring you every single day, he's have like successful 20,000 locations, you're gonna feel confident as fuck by the advice he gives, right? He can give like exact steps on what you need to do, and you just like turn off your brain and fucking do it, and you're gonna get success. So if you can find stuff like these, like KFC type owners on your specific goal, like their experience alone is something super valuable that can keep you super locked in, because I mean you basically know you're going to get results, right? All right, so now you can build an environment that pretty much makes automatic focus and progress. So what do you do next? All you have to do is, once you set your landmark, repeat the other 4 steps in a cycle, and through that it'll be less about grinding through and trying to focus and more about simply progressing. But there's one actually problem with this simple framework. What if you're naturally lazy as fuck? Does this mean this system doesn't work for you? It's completely useless. Actually, no, because all you have to do is watch this video next, and I'll show you how you can turn your laziness into the secret key to unlocking your most intense, long-lasting focus, letting you outwork everyone while feeling like you're doing less